10. Essential supplies. FEMA urges you to have it home before the next emergency. Prepare every day. Please subscribe and like. Enjoy watching. 3 years ago, my neighbor asked me something that made me think. Jacob, he said, if a disaster were to strike tonight, would you be ready? At the time, I thought yes. But when I started digging deeper, I realized that most of us are not prepared at all. Statistics show that only 39% of Americans have a basic emergency plan. This means that more than half of us are living in the hope that disaster will pass us by. But the truth is that disasters are no longer a matter of if, but of when. Tornadoes in Texas, hurricanes on the coast, wildfires in California, winter storms in the east. Every year something happens somewhere nearby. Over the past 5 years, I've personally experienced 2 hurricanes, 1 flood, and an ice storm that left us without power for a week. Now I'm going to share with you the 10 things that FEMA officially recommends having in your home, plus a few additional tools that many people forget about. In 15 years of emergency preparedness, I've seen people panic when things go wrong. Don't be one of them. Let's start with the most important thing, water. I know it sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people ignore or underestimate it. FEMA says a minimum of a gallon per person per day for 3 days. For a family of 4, that's 12 gallons. Does that sound like a lot? Think of it this way. You use water for more than just drinking. You use it for cooking, washing dishes, brushing your teeth, even flushing the toilet. The average American uses 80 gallons of water a day in a typical day. When Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005, people were standing in lines for water 5 days after the storm. 5 long days under the scorching sun. And some neighborhoods were left without clean water for weeks. My friend Mike lived in the suburbs of New Orleans at the time. He told me how he and his family drank rainwater from plates and pots because they had nothing else. He lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks until federal aid arrived. His wife fainted from dehydration. I store my water in special 55-gallon food barrels in the basement. I set them up so that I can easily get water with a siphon or pump. But if you don't have that kind of space, start with regular bottles from the store. Buy 2 to 3 packs each week until you have accumulated the right amount. Store them in a cool, dark place, in a closet, in a basement, even under the bed. Just remember, you need to rotate the water every 6 months. I put a date on the bottles with a marker and set a reminder on my phone for the first day of every 6 months. Old water is not poisonous, but the taste becomes unpleasant. When disaster's on the way, when you see a hurricane or tornado approaching on the news, immediately fill your bathtub with water. This can give you an extra 40 to 60 gallons for unexpected needs. Even if the water from the tap becomes undrinkable due to damaged pipes or contamination, you can use it for washing, cleaning, and putting out small fires. Water purification tablets are also useful. They are compact and can save lives if you have to use water from a river, pond, or rainwater. Remember the basic rule of survival. Without water, you will last a maximum of 3 days. Without food, you can live for weeks, even a month. But without water, death comes quickly and painfully. Food is the next priority. But this is where many people make costly mistakes or do nothing at all. Forget about those huge barrels of freeze-dried food for thousands of dollars that are advertised on the internet with promises of a 25-year shelf life. Start simple and smart. During the pandemic, we all saw empty shelves in stores. Canned food was the first to disappear, and for good reason. Stewed meat, beans, corn, peaches, all of these can be stored for years without losing their nutritional properties. Even after the Second World War, my grandfather always kept a supply of canned food in the basement. He was a wise man. He said that hunger is a worse death than a bullet. He lived through the Great Depression and knew the value of food. Army rations, MREs, are a great option, although a bit expensive. One serving costs about $8, but it's calorie-dense, balanced, and requires no cooking. You just add water to the chemical heater or eat it as is. Each MRE contains about 1,200 calories, which is the minimum to maintain strength during moderate activity. Freeze-dried foods are the best option for long-term storage. Some can last for 25 years in sealed packages without loss of quality if stored at the right temperature. But start gradually. Don't spend your entire paycheck on preparations at once. Every time you go to the store, buy $5 to $10 worth of extra canned food. In 6 months, you will have a decent supply, and it won't hit the family budget. The main rule I always follow is to buy what you eat and eat what you buy. There's no point in stocking up on sardines and tomato if you hate them. In a stressful situation, the body is already working to the limit. Adrenaline is going through the roof, and digestion is disrupted. Familiar food will help maintain psychological balance, a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. Peanut butter, crackers, energy bars, all of these quickly give you energy and don't spoil for months, even at room temperature. Honey is the only product that never spoils. Plus, it is a natural antibiotic and a source of quick energy. When Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast in October of 2012, more than 8 million people lost power. Cell phone towers fell under the blows of winds of more than 100 miles per hour, and internet cables were damaged by flooding. People sat in the dark, not knowing where to get help, when the power would be restored, or whether it was safe to go outside due to downed trees and live wires. Those who had an emergency radio were the first to know. They heard weather reports, instructions from rescue services, information about water and food distribution points. My aunt lived in New Jersey at the time and told me how their neighbors would gather around the only radio in the neighborhood to get the news. This radio became the center of the community, a source of hope. A battery-powered or hand-cranked radio is your window to the world when everything else is off. I recommend a radio with multiple power sources, regular AA batteries, a manual winder, and a small solar panel. About 15 minutes of cranking the knob gives you an hour of listening at a volume sufficient for the room. Many modern models have useful additional features: a bright LED flashlight with several modes, the ability to charge a mobile phone via a USB port, even a siren to sound an alarm. My Midland model costs $50, but it has already justified its price twice during power outages after ice storms. Losing contact with the world during a crisis is a real psychological blow. You don't know what's happening outside your neighborhood, whether help is coming, whether it's safe to stay at home, or whether you need to evacuate urgently. The radio gives you information, and information is power over the situation and calmness for your nerves. Emergency services always broadcast critical messages over the radio waves, even when all other means of communication are unavailable. Weather reports, evacuation instructions, locations of aid distribution centers, hotline phone numbers, all of these can be heard on AM/FM radio and NOAA weather frequencies. I keep my main radio in my bedroom next to my bed and a backup in the glove compartment of my car. I check the batteries once a month and change them whether they are dead or not. Medical care may not be available for days or even weeks after a major disaster. Hospitals are overcrowded with victims. Roads are blocked by debris. Ambulances cannot pass through damaged bridges and flooded streets. Therefore, your home first aid kit can mean the difference between life and death, especially for minor but potentially dangerous injuries and illnesses. Basic items that everyone should have. Band-aids of different sizes, from small for scratches to large for serious cuts. Sterile gauze wipes for dressing wounds. Elastic bandages for sprains and strains. Antiseptic wipes with alcohol for wound treatment. Painkillers. Ibuprofen. And acetaminophen in large packs of 200 pills. They not only soothe pain, but also reduce fever and reduce inflammation after injuries. If you or your loved ones have chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart problems, asthma, high blood pressure, and stock up on the necessary medications for at least a month, and preferably 2. Talk to your doctor about getting additional prescriptions for an emergency supply. Most doctors understand the importance of such preparation, especially after the pandemic. Many people forget about an antibiotic ointment like Neosporin. A small wound can become a serious problem if an infection starts and you can't get to a doctor for weeks. A digital thermometer to monitor temperature, tongs with thin tips to remove splinters and splinters, and sharp scissors to cut bandages and clothing in case of injury. Do not forget about diarrhea remedies, loperamide, or similar drugs. In stressful situations and when changing your diet to canned food, this happens more often than you think. Antihistamines such as Benadryl can save lives in case of serious allergic reactions to insect bites or new food. I also keep medical instant skin glue in my first aid kit. It can close a small wound faster and more securely than a regular plaster. Disposable latex or nitrile gloves will protect you from infections while helping the wounded. Check the expiration dates of all medications regularly every 6 months. Medications lose their effectiveness over time, and some can even become dangerous. Last but not least, learn basic first aid. Take a Red Cross course or watch online tutorials on YouTube. The best first aid kit in the world is useless if you don't know how to use it properly. A whistle seems like such a small thing until you find yourself under the rubble of a building or in a situation where you need to attract the attention of rescuers from afar. Your voice will quickly become hoarse from screaming, especially if you're stressed, injured, or dehydrated. And a whistle can be heard half a mile away, even over the noise of rescue equipment and loud noises. During the earthquake in Mexico in 2017, rescuers found people alive under the rubble precisely because of the sound of whistles 48 hours after the collapse. One simple signal can save lives. Keep a whistle with you at all times, on a keychain, on a lanyard around your neck, in your jacket pocket. A metal whistle is better than a plastic one. It is louder and will not break from frost in winter or heat in summer. Teach the whole family the international SOS signal. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short signals with pauses between groups. Rescuers know this code all over the world. Teach children to whistle if they are lost or injured and cannot shout to adults. A whistle is also useful for scaring away wild animals or attackers. Protective masks have become commonplace after the pandemic, but their importance goes far beyond protecting against viruses. During forest fires, industrial accidents, and explosions at chemical plants, the smoke can be so thick that it becomes impossible to breathe without protection for several minutes. N95 masks filter out 95% of all particles with a size of 0.3 microns or larger. This includes smoke, dust, pollen, and most bacteria and viruses. During the California wildfires, people with masks could stay outside and help evacuate their neighbors, while those without masks suffocated after a few minutes outdoors. Buy masks in bulk in packs of 20. They are much cheaper, and keep them in your car, at home, at work. P100 Neo masks are even better. They filter 99 whole 97 hundredths of a percent of particles, but they are more expensive and harder to breathe when you are physically working. For most situations, N95s are sufficient and more comfortable to wear for several hours at a time. Plastic sheets and duct tape seem like simple things from the hardware store, but they can save you from chemical or radiological air pollution. The idea is simple. Quickly isolate one room in the house, creating an airtight shelter from the outside air. Choose a room without windows or with the fewest windows, preferably on the second floor away from the main entrance and garage. Seal all gaps around windows, doors, and vents with plastic and duct tape. During a chemical accident at a factory or a radiation leak from a nuclear power plant, such room shelters save thousands of lives, giving people time to wait for evacuation or dispersal of hazardous substances. After the Chernobyl accident, people who quickly sealed their homes received significantly lower doses of radiation. Keep enough 4 mil thick plastic to cover an area of 100 square feet, enough for an average room with all the holes. Buy several rolls of gray or black duct tape. It is the strongest and uses up quickly when taping. Practice in advance with your family so that you can act quickly and not panic in a critical situation. The ideal sealing time is 15 minutes from the beginning to complete isolation. Remember that a sealed room has enough oxygen for a small family for several hours, so this is a temporary solution until help arrives. Hygiene is not just about comfort, it is a matter of life and death in a long-term emergency. When the sewage system is not working, the water supply is cut off due to damaged pipes, and garbage trucks do not come for weeks. Unsanitary conditions can lead to outbreaks of infectious diseases faster than you think. Cholera, dysentery, and hepatitis A all thrive in poor hygiene and can kill a healthy person in a few days. Stock up on wet wipes in large packs of 100. They will replace showering and hand washing when there is no water or it needs to be saved for drinking. Take alcohol-free ones to avoid drying the skin with frequent use. An antibacterial hand gel with at least 60% alcohol is your best friend in such conditions. Use it after every contact with contaminated surfaces, before eating, and after using the toilet. Sturdy, 3-mile thick garbage bags will be the basis of your emergency toilet. Place a 15-gallon bucket or sturdy plastic chair, stretch a double bag over it, and sprinkle some kitty litter or wood shavings on the bottom to absorb odor and moisture. After use, add more litter, tie the inner bag and place it in another bucket with a tight lid away from the living area. Buy toilet paper in large packages. It takes up a lot of space. But without it, life becomes miserable. Feminine hygiene products, diapers, if you have small children, toothbrushes and toothpaste. Do not forget about soap. Ordinary laundry soap is universal. You can wash your body, dishes, and clothes by hand. Disinfectants with chlorine to treat surfaces and kill bacteria. Dilute 1 part of chlorine to 9 parts of water to create a powerful disinfectant for all surfaces. Isolate waste from clean areas and water sources by at least 50 feet. Even a small amount of contamination can poison your entire family with an intestinal infection. During Hurricane Katrina, many people died not from the hurricane itself, but from infections due to unsanitary conditions in shelters. After a major disaster, earthquake, tornado, explosion, your home can become a death trap. Cracked gas pipes can lead to an explosion that levels the entire neighborhood. Damaged water lines under pressure can flood the basement and destroy the foundation in a matter of hours. You should know where the main gas and water valves are located and be able to shut them off quickly, even in the dark or during aftershocks. The gas valve is usually located next to the meter outside the house on the street side. To close it, you need a wrench or strong pliers. You cannot turn this lever with your hands. It is specially made tight for safety. Turn the valve a quarter turn clockwise so that it is perpendicular to the pipe. If the valve is parallel to the pipe, the gas is open. If it is perpendicular, it is closed. The water main valve can be located near the foundation of the house or on the street near the sidewalk in a special manhole with a lid. Practice beforehand on a bright day so that in a critical situation you don't have to search in the dark with a flashlight and shaking hands. Show all adult family members where everything is and how it works. Keep the necessary tools near the valves or in an easily accessible place, such as in the garage near the entrance to the house. If you smell gas after an earthquake or other disaster, turn off the gas immediately and get out of the house as a family. Do not turn on the lights, use lighters, matches, or even touch the switches. The slightest spark can cause an explosion that will demolish the entire house and damage neighboring ones. If you suspect a gas leak, leave the doors and windows open for ventilation and call the gas service from a safe place. It may seem like a small thing, but a manual can opener is one of the most important things in your emergency kit. Imagine the situation. The power has been out for 3 days after an ice storm. You have a whole cupboard full of canned stews and vegetables, but the only can opener is an electric one, sitting on the kitchen table as a useless piece of metal. Or worse, you have a regular manual can opener, but it's broken from overuse or lost in the chaos of evacuating your home. Your expensive food supplies become completely out of reach until you find a way to open them with a knife or other improvised means. During Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico in 2017, people broke open canned food with rocks and hammers because they didn't have a can opener. Can you imagine how much food was lost? How many people went hungry because of such a trifle? Buy a high-quality military can opener like the P38 or P51. They are small, durable, and will last for decades even with intensive use. They cost a penny, literally $2 or $3, but they can save lives. Keep one main can opener with your food supplies in your pantry so you always know where it is. Put a spare in an emergency backpack or bag for quick evacuation. Leave the third one in the glove compartment of your car in case you have to drive away from home and live in your car. Check them from time to time. Even the best tools can become dull or rusty from humidity. Teach all family members, including teenagers, how to use them. In a critical situation, every pair of hands counts, and you may be injured or busy doing other things. A high-quality can opener should easily cut through the metal of the can in one clear motion. Have a comfortable handle that does not slip even with wet hands and not break under load even when opening large cans. Don't skimp on this little thing. The difference between a good and a bad can opener can be the difference between being full and hungry at the most critical moment of your life. Cheap can openers from China often break after a few uses or leave jagged edges that can easily cut you. It's better to pay $5 for a quality American can opener than to buy cheap ones every few months. The P38 and P51 military can openers have been tested by decades of service in the U.S. Army and are considered the benchmark for reliability. They are so compact that they fit in a wallet, but are sturdy enough to open any can. Many veterans carry them on a keychain as a talisman. These little gizmos save the lives of soldiers in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. If you have canned food, you must have a reliable can opener. It's so simple, but so critical. To summarize everything we have discussed, emergency preparedness is not about paranoia or fanaticism of people in camouflage. It is a common responsibility to your family and common sense. Every year, natural and man-made disasters affect millions of American families. Hurricanes ravage the coasts. Tornadoes sweep through the Midwest. Wildfires devour California and other western states, and ice storms paralyze the north and east. These are not some distant events in the news. They are a reality that 1 in 5 Americans face every year. Start small and gradually build up your stockpile. Don't try to buy everything at once. It's expensive and can be overwhelming. Buy a little bit each week along with your regular grocery shopping, and in a few months, you will be prepared for most disasters that can happen in our country. Make a simple plan of action for different scenarios. Where to meet if the family is scattered, how to contact each other, where to evacuate. Go over it with your children so they know what to do. Children who know the plan are less likely to panic and may even help adults in a critical situation. Remember the main rule of preparation. It is better to have and not need than to need and not have. Each thing on our list may seem like a trifle on a normal day, but it can be a matter of life and death when things go wrong. Water gives life, food gives strength, radio gives information and hope. A first aid kit saves from infections and complications. A whistle can attract the attention of rescuers. Masks protect the lungs, plastic and duct tape create shelter. Hygiene prevents diseases, tools allow you to control utility systems. And a can opener makes food accessible. Everything is interconnected. Every element is important. The worst thing you can do is to do nothing, hoping that the disaster will pass you by. Statistics show the opposite. The probability of getting into some kind of emergency during your lifetime is close to 100%. It's not pessimism, it's math. Do not forget about the psychological aspect of preparation. When you have a plan and the necessary supplies, you feel calmer and more confident. This affects the whole family. Children see that their parents are in control of the situation and are less anxious about news of disasters. Preparation is not about fear, it's about peace of mind. Knowing that you can take care of your loved ones regardless of the circumstances gives you inner strength and confidence. Many people say that after their first experience of preparation, they sleep better and their anxiety has significantly decreased. This is a side effect of responsibility. When you are ready, you are calm. Sometimes people say to me, Jake, what if the disaster is so severe that no amount of stockpiling will help? My answer is simple. What if it doesn't? Most emergencies are not the end of the world, but temporary difficulties that can be survived with the right preparation. A power outage for a week, water supply interruptions, a travel ban due to quarantine, or a natural disaster. It is in these situations that your supplies and action plan make the difference between comfort and suffering, between calm and panic. In addition, the skills you acquire during preparation are useful not only in crisis situations. The ability to plan, save resources, think ahead, and work with limited means all make you a stronger and smarter person in everyday life. Many of my friends say that emergency preparedness has taught them to better manage their personal finances, plan their family budget, and appreciate what they have. If this video helped you understand the importance of preparation and gave you practical advice, please like and subscribe to the channel. This really helps the algorithm to show our content to more people who can benefit from this information. There are still many more useful survival videos, detailed equipment reviews, and real stories of people who have gone through emergencies and survived thanks to proper preparation. We will look at different disaster scenarios, talk about the psychology of survival, and learn basic first aid skills. We are also planning a series on how to teach children the basics of safety and preparation according to their age. Be prepared, stay safe, and remember, the best help you can give your family is to be prepared for anything.